Good morning. Good morning. Much, much better. I'm Greg Caudle. I'm CEO of Farmers National Bank, and we're glad you're here. I know you'd rather be back at school, right? Yeah. No? Well, we're excited you're here this morning. I'm a big fan of music and also a strong proponent of financial education, so I'm looking forward to hearing from Gooding this morning. They'll share money management lessons that will serve you well throughout your lives and lead you to make smart financial decisions. Farmers National Bank has a deep-rooted history as a financial institution. We opened our doors in 1879, been here a long time. We sponsor events like this because we care about our community and we care about your choices that you're going to make as far as the finances that you'll face as you grow up. Support of financial literacy has long been a primary focus of our bank, and we hope that after today, you'll have a better understanding of how to protect yourselves from financial predators who try to entice you to make poor decisions. At Farmers National Bank, we do more than just take deposits and make loans, which includes offering investment solutions through F&B Investment Services. This includes many of the things you'll hear about today, like retirement plans, college savings, and financial planning. And I want to give a special thank you to our own Valerie McMahon, one of our F&B Financial Service team members. She has identified this opportunity to bring Gooding here today and is a champion of financial education. And I'd also like to introduce the whole Farmers National Bank, the F&B Investment Services team, which are over there in the dark somewhere. Just wave to them, guys. So thank you all, and get ready for a fun morning with Gooding.
I met my drummer Jesse Richenberger back in 7th grade in Kansas when we won our junior high talent show together. We played in a bunch of bands together. We lived all over the country, from California to Florida, Colorado to Tennessee. And we're thrilled to have in this band a couple of our favorite musicians on the planet. On guitar and vocals, Aaron O'Neill from Santa Clara, California, and on bass and vocals, Eric Santagata from Nashville, Tennessee. We've been touring for over 10 years. We play about 150 shows a year in the US, Canada, and the UK. We've been through all the road dog initiations of stolen gear, vans on fire. We've cooked ramen in the coffee pots of the hotels around America. But all of this makes us a family, and we're so proud to have made a life out of our musical dreams. Our original music has been featured on over 200 film and TV shows, including CSI, Scandal, MLB Network, Portlandia, Bloodline. We even had a track featured in the DVD release of Johnny Cash's Walk the Line. Now that's an honor to say the least. But one of our proudest moments was being invited to Beatrice, Nebraska, where their drumline based their halftime show around our music. We got to join them on the stage, play for the town, and they went on to win the regional competition. We've played shows in every single state in the lower 48. We've donated 16 shows to our men and women in the armed forces. We've been invited to Walter Reed Hospital and for a private tour of the White House. We built a fan-funded bus with recording gear inside running off of solar panels, and we've taken it to over 200 schools around the country to talk to students about finances, their futures, and changing our communities for the better. This past couple years, we've been able to meet some amazing people, including some of rock and roll's royalty, including Bon Jovi, Willie Nelson, and the grandfather of rock and roll itself, Mr. Chuck Berry. Please follow us and say hello online, and we'll see you on the road soon.
Danville, we cannot thank you enough for having us. I know it's early for y'all, it's early for us rock and rollers too, but we're gonna give you everything we got. This is all original music. This first one's called Troublemaker.
Notice when the trouble starts, notice when the trouble starts, and they just be coming for you. Notice when the trouble starts, notice when the trouble starts, nothing more that you can do. All right. my blood up, now you got my blood up. There's nothing more that you can take. There's poison in the sky, there's poison in the ground, there's fire there on the lake. All of your lies don't mean nothing to me. All of your hate don't mean nothing to me. All of your money don't mean nothing to me. Nothing. Troublemaker. You got my blood up now, you got my blood up. My heart is cold and kerosene. Your big boots on the ground, your heart's a hollow sound. You never say what you mean, no, no. All of your lies don't mean nothing to me. All of your hate don't mean nothing to me. All of your money don't mean nothing to me. Nothing. Preachers and the liars, the sellers and the buyers all start to look the same. And the dealers, they want you on the ground. Let's make that white light sound come around, yeah! All of your lies don't mean nothing to me. All of your hate don't mean nothing to me. All of your money don't mean nothing to me. Nothing, no, no. Troublemaker, troublemaker, troublemaker. Get ready, y'all.
Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, all right. Aaron O'Neill right there, my lord. So we spent the first couple months of this year at a studio in Los Angeles that's like hallowed ground to us rock and rollers. It's a place called Sound City. Dave Grohl from Nirvana and Foo Fighters actually did a documentary about this place. Wonderful. We got to work with our first major label producer. We want to play you some of the songs that we put together out there before anybody else has heard them, before it's on the radio or TV or any of that. This is a thing called Down to Old Mexico.
The bullet crash sky, but the rain never comes. The men are full of violence, their greed made them numb. The war in the pipeline, war in a drum. They want it all. There's nothing in the cover, no nothing we can use. You can't scare a father with nothing left to lose. My family gets hungry, I've got no path to choose. I want it all. Mexico, down, down, down where the Russian rivers flow. Down, down, down where the lights are hanging low. Down to Mexico, down to LA. Oh, oh. Make sleep, make you pay to work, tell you admit defeat. Till they run out so that we'll not sleep. I want it all. Give me some hits, here we go. To make a sound, no energy to shout. I can let you in and that will let you out. Sing you something sacred, perhaps the devout. They want it all. Oh, yeah. Down, down, down to old Mexico. Down, down, down where the Persian rivers flow. Down, down, down where the lights are hanging low. Down to Mexico, down, down. Mexico, down, down, down where the poison rivers flow. Down, down, down where the lights are hanging low. Down, down, down to old Mexico. Down, down, down where the poison rivers flow. Down, down, down where the lights are hanging low. Down to old Mexico. Down, here we go. With some hits. Here we go. 1, 2, hey. Thank y'all. All right, thank you. We appreciate it. Y'all are a blast to play for. Thank you. We're going to do one. We're going to need you in 3 different parts of this song. It's 49% us, 51% you. We're going to clap along, and we're going to sing this old blues sounding melody that we wrote. We go, just like that. This is called Bring the World Around. Yeah, buddy. That's it, y'all, yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, sounds perfect. Bring your light, bring your sound from the river to ground. Bring your dark, bring your clouds, are your doubts getting loud? And the world is waiting. Bring a little, bring a lot, bring out everything you got. All your silver and gold, dreams of blue, dreams of gold. Bring the fire and the blood, bring the steel and the blood. Just lift me up off the ground, just bring the world around. Yeah, man, y'all are wonderful. Bring your future, your past, make something that will last. Forged in rust, forged in time, forged in rhythm and rhyme. Here we go. And the world is waiting now. And the world, all right, boys. Bring a little, bring a lot, bring out everything you got. All your silver and gold, dreams of new, dreams of gold. Bring the fire and the blood, bring the steel and the blood. Just lift me up off the ground. Here's the middle part of the ground. Yeah, man, Kentucky. Every time I get time to think, I just blow it, baby. I just let it all fall down. Got to hear my heart so clear, it's a winter booster, broken sound. Bring a little, bring a lot, bring out everything. All your silver and gold, dreams of new dreams. Bring the fire and the blood, bring the steel and the blood. Lift me up off the ground, that's the spirit, y'all. Bring a little, bring a lot, bring out everything you got. All your silver and gold, dreams of new dreams of gold. Bring the fire and the blood, bring the steel and the blood. Lift me up off the ground, bring the world around. Man, we love y'all, man. Danville, Boyce, Mercer, Verdon, DCA, Garrett, Lincoln. Give them a little bit more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. All right, y'all, we're gonna do something funky for you. Try to get you moving in your seat early morning. Yeah, buddy. This is gonna feature everybody on this stage. It's called Because It Hurts. Because it hurts. You don't want to let anybody through, yeah. Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody love you. Anybody love you. Down by the river in Austin, we changed our names. Felt the song in your fire, future in your flames. Now you're getting scared, cause everything is real. When fear is standing up, your faith is got to kneel. Cause it hurts, you don't want to let anybody through. Cause it hurts, you don't want to let anybody love. Way up high, here we go. Anybody love. Woo! Time you best remember, you blew up, caused a scene. Never announce your intention, never announce your scheme. Light it up, light it up. I'll show them how it's done. You're getting scared, cause everything is real. When fear is standing up, your faith is got to kneel. Cause it hurts, you don't want to, Danville, let anybody through. Cause it hurts, you don't want to let anybody. Sing along with me like this. One, I say, woo, 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 woo. Together. gonna take time. Everything will work out fine. Yeah, y'all. Gonna take time. Gonna take time. Everything will work out fine. Gonna take. Woo! 'Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody through. 'Cause it hurts. You don't want to. One more time, sing along with me. Let anybody love you.
Get ready, y'all, from Los Angeles, California, on the vocals and guitar, Aaron O'Neill.
'Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody through. No, because it hurts. You don't want to let anybody go. 'Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody through. No, 'cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody love you. Anybody love you.
Aaron O'Neill. That's Mr. Eric Santagata from Nashville, Tennessee on the bass and the vocals. Put your hands together. Also from Nashville on the drums, Michael Boyes. Give it up for Michael. Last but not least, our tour manager, sound man back there, Mr. Tyler Castle. Here we go, hits.
'Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody through. 'Cause it hurts. You don't want to let anybody love you. Anybody love you.
Thank you. Hey, y'all are wonderful. We can't thank you enough. We get to play one more song for you. We're going to do the extended version, though. We don't try to give you our back in Kentucky version of this one. It's a thing called The Last Train Out. Funky, yeah. Woo!
In my head full of opera, there's still a little voice. Nobody made you do it. You always had a choice. victim, little victim, screaming out and screaming on. Fear is the map, regret builds its empires upon. Here we go. Cover the wasteland, let the demons out. One thing I can promise, this is your last train out, the last train out now. Push against your bruises, tear apart the skin, drowns and bury every dream. You couldn't get a starring role within, no, no. Save your excuses, it ain't what you say, it's what you do. Building up your wall so high, never gonna find a way to push on through. Cover the wasteland, let the demons out. One thing I can promise, this is your last train out, last train out now. Wake up for your peace now, wake up for your doubts. One thing I can promise, this is your last train out, last train out now. In my head full of opera, one thing still rings true. The maker of these monsters might be you. Cover the wasteland, hey, let the demons out. One thing I can promise, this is your last train out, the last train out now. Wake up for your feast now, wake up for your doubts. One thing I can promise, this is your last train out. Aaron, take us home. Thank you so much for having us, y'all. We love you. Once again, that's Michael Boris, Eric Santagata, Aaron O'Neill. My name is Gooding. Huge thanks to our friends at Farmers National Bank. Yeah, Valerie and Greg, thank you. Crew here at this beautiful auditorium, thank you. Let's give them just a tiny bit more. Up to E. 2, 3, 4.
so much, y'all. Thank you. Guys, before you leave this room, I'm going to give you a website you can go to where if you answer just a couple of questions with us, we can unlock a code to make sure that every single one of you in this room get everything we just played plus another 5 or 6 songs. We want to give you the new record, so we're going to make sure that happens. I don't know if you guys got your phones with you, if it's okay with the schools. What are you guys on? Y'all on Facebook still? I know you're on Snapchat. How about Instagram? Y'all on Instagram? Man, I want you to follow us at all those sites, YouTube, Spotify, you know the deal. But the 40th person today that will follow at goodingmusic.com, at goodingmusic on Instagram, our tour manager is going to hit you right back. We got a tour shirt with your name on it. We'll sign it and we'll give it to you. We'll make sure we send it with the school. So please stay in touch, y'all. I'm going to come right back out here in just a couple minutes. We're going to show you a film of some work we've done in film and TV, and we're going to have a chat and get to meet some of y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
When the night gets old, when the stars are black and the ground is cold, there you're gonna find me, honey, find me, honey, find me, honey. There you're gonna find me, honey. Right on now, baby, right on.
Her?
That's definitely her.
She's a dime.
Oh, this girl's more than a dime for all.
Oh my God, were you in love with this girl already? Sure, I've seen this
I
girl.
admire anyone who's honest and straightforward, and there never was any man more honest and straightforward than John.
Game on.
That's my move. Give me that ball.
You know what? I'm beginning to like this country already.
You guys, again, thank you so much. Before I even get into this, I not only play with some just amazing musicians, but these are some kind-hearted, good human beings. One more time, that was Michael Boris on the drums, Aaron O'Neill on the guitar and the vocals, Eric Santagata. We're going to bring them back out in just a few minutes. Give them a round of applause one more time, please. Yeah. Last but not least, the colossal Tyler Castle on sound, tour management, driving the bus from Lincoln, Nebraska back there in the window. Give a round of applause for him. And I am going to say a very special thank you to our friends Valerie and Greg and Farmers National Bank for putting this whole thing together, paying to get everybody here, to get the buses here. They did a bunch of work so we could have this chat and play some rock and roll. One more round of applause for Farmers National Bank. Yeah. All right, let's jump into it. We're going to move quick here. I know I got some smart, passionate, funky people too. Y'all on that 2 and 4 just fine. So we're going to go through this quickly. Guys, you know what we're here to talk about today? Money, credit cards, finance.
Financial literacy.
It doesn't sound very sexy, does it? It doesn't sound cool. Let's just be, I feel like we're a little family now. We made some music together. We can real talk, right? When I was sitting there, y'all seniors? Yeah, man, all right. Okay, that's good. This is a perfect time for this discussion. The thing is, when I was sitting there in high school, some dude would have played rock and roll and then come back out and said, I want to talk about financial literacy. I'd have been like, that sounds terrible. And it does not sound like it's going to affect me. It's not going to apply to me. No. Boo. Play some more music. Here's the thing I want you to understand, y'all, and you're being wonderful. Thank you for your attention, and that's great. Nobody asked us to do this. We've been playing around a long time. We talked to a lot of people at 3 in the morning after a theater or a club, heard their life stories, heard about some mistakes that got made, looked back into my childhood, realized a bunch of mistakes I made. I'm going to tell you about a couple of them, but I won't go into it too far. I will say this. This is going to affect you as much as anything you're going to learn in school, in college, I promise you. Here's how. Raise your hand if you want to buy a car. You seniors, maybe a lot of you got a car. You want a nicer car. Who wants a nicer car? All right. Who wants to buy a house someday? All right, good. Ownership, that's good. It's the last one. I'm going to split you in half on this one. This is a fun one. Who wants to get married someday? Okay. Is it? One man said, yes. Okay, good for you. I was like, I don't have a date to the prom. I'm just going to work on my guitar. Okay, good for you. You wouldn't notice me screaming at y'all, but I was like 3 feet tall till I was 16. I used to be very, very shy. Okay, if you raised your hand, or maybe you're shy, you even thought about raising your hand, but you don't want anybody to know that you got those plans. You want to get your life together. You want things to be stable. Maybe you come from a home situation where things ain't that stable. You want to break that chain, turn that around. If you even thought about raising your hand to one of those 3 questions, financial literacy is going to help you, I promise, even though it doesn't sound cool. My job for the next 10 minutes or so is for you to understand that financial literacy needs to be Latin for freedom. What you want to do for yourselves, your families, your communities. It's not just about money. I'm going to show you how to make some money. But this is also about how we can make some change and how we can live up to our potential and our abilities and all those kind of things. This is what I thought the face of financial literacy was when I was your age. That's not actually my grandfather, but I think you get the picture. This is what I heard when he called me.
Gooding, you need to get a real job. You need to go slow and steady. You need to save money.
I was like, dude, I don't need to hear that. I'm going to get a record deal. I'm going to buy my mama a house, and I'm going to live happily ever after. It's just that easy, right? No, see, Danville, Kentucky knows it's not. Check this out, guys. You ever turn on the television, and everybody you see, when I was a kid, I was born outside of Detroit, raised in Kansas. And I've lived in L.A., lived in Nashville, and I've been around a little bit. But every time I turned the television on growing up, everybody was like half naked, dancing, drinking. I was like, oh man, listen, I just got to get famous. It's going to fix all my problems. Guys, I lived in Los Angeles for about 10 years. You've seen the film. You've seen some of this stuff. I've met some of these famous people. They go up like this. They don't have any financial literacy. They come down even faster. And 0 is not the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. People ask me all the time, we were on CNBC, talk to the Wall Street Journal, like, why do you rock and rollers care about financial literacy? Aren't you guys supposed to be throwing televisions out the hotel room windows and getting all crazy? Because I think it's rock and roll for you guys to be able to harness that potential. I think it's rock and roll. The thing is, if you don't want to work or you don't want to listen, y'all are listening, y'all being wonderful. I know we got hard-working people here. If you don't want to work, I can't help you. But if you're working hard, which I know you are, and if you're going after your goals and your dreams, then you should have a level playing field. And 0 is not the bottom anymore. People get down quick. I mean, even at 18, they start sending checks to your house. You start getting this credit card debt, some of these predatory loans. I don't know if you've heard of these same-day lenders. We're going to talk about these same-day lenders a little bit. And I'm not against anybody whose family's working there. It's just a strange system I want to discuss. And what happens is, before you've even had a chance to get your life started, maybe student loans too, you are already in debt. I want to see Danville, Kentucky making interest, not paying interest. Y'all know what interest is? Yeah, who's got financial literacy? Who's had a financial literacy class? You have some financial literacy classes at your high schools around here? Man, that's amazing. Most schools don't. That's why we started a charity to try to make this a requirement in every single school. Okay, that's a good thing. One more. Who knows what a credit score is? I'm not going to make you say it. It's another unsexy sounding thing that's going to change your life. That's going to be the key to getting that house and that car. All right, now, I didn't listen to him. I was very lucky that I had people that wanted to go after this dream with me. And I worked very hard, but I didn't work smart. I didn't understand that even a rock and roll band is a small business, that we had to be saving, that we had to be thinking about our finance, that when we talked about managers and lawyers and accountants and distributors and publishers and yada, 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 then I needed to be thinking about every one of those pennies. Now, when you're making music and writing music, you're off doing your thing. It's all creative and beautiful, but you got to keep your mind on your money. And I suspect that that's going to be the case for anything that y'all want to do. Now, I'm not telling you to be a rock and roller or an actor or an athlete or anybody I'm going to make a little bit of fun of on the screen for a second. I'm telling you, whatever it is you want to do, financial literacy is going to get you there a little bit quicker. I was raised by a single mama, great woman, let us play rock and roll around the house all the time. But guys, we did not open the bills on time at my house. We definitely didn't talk about a credit score. y'all may be in the same situation, you know? Maybe $1 is all you have. That's okay. Because of your age, if you will start saving right now, this is the rock and roll part. If you're putting a little bit away, I'm gonna show you how your money can make money for you. And later on in life, you're gonna have the freedom to do whatever it is you wanna do. Now, once we figured some of this out, we started investing ourselves. A lot of good things happened. You saw we've been around the country. We'd actually been to the UK. A lot of good things have happened. But it took us a while to learn this. We ended up starting our own record label, starting our own publishing company. You guys know what a publishing company is? I didn't come here to play car commercials, I promise. The only reason I showed you all that stuff is we wrote, recorded, mixed, engineered, mastered, made the cold calls on that music. And now it took years, but that stuff is all in film and television, video games. And every time they spin those songs, they send us a little royalty. Folks in the finance world call this diversification. Means that we're getting money from different places. In Los Angeles, they call it slipper checks. Y'all know what a slipper check is? It means you get up in the morning, you put your slippers on, you go out to your mailbox and get your check. It's a good way to make money. I'm gonna show each and every one of you how you can do that, regardless of what the job is, even a minimum wage job. I'm not saying it's easy, but if you're working hard at your age and you're saving now, as long as you ain't hurting anybody, whatever job you have, you can get those slipper checks too. All this comes down to one thing, guys. Control your money, or it's gonna control you. I'm just gonna do a few of these. Only 4% of us under 35 making more than $35,000 a year right now in America. 76% of us living paycheck to paycheck. That means there's more month than there is money at the end of the month. 75, you raise your hand about getting married, right? 75% of divorces, 3 out of 4 divorces are resulting directly from financial stress or miscommunication about money. Last one in 1946, 100 years before y'all were born. If you had that dollar in your pocket, you owed 22% of it. That means 22 cents of every dollar you owed on your house or your car. There wasn't same-day lenders. It wasn't credit cards. Today, it's 110%. That means as a country, we owe more money than we're making. Here's the easiest way to look about financial literacy if you haven't studied this at all. This pocket's what's coming in. This pocket's what's going out. If you are spending more money than you're making, then you're going to suffer. If you get out a piece of paper, you put down your income, whatever it is you're doing, whatever hours you're earning, and then you put all the things that you're buying, and you total those numbers together, and the bottom number on that page is a negative number, y'all gonna experience some negative things. Now guys, I don't want you to think I'm saying money's bad. The lack of knowledge that we have about money, our financial illiteracy, as Greg said before we went on, is what gets us in trouble. So that's what we're trying to turn around here. Let me show you some people that did not control their money. You may never have heard of us. That's just fine. I know you heard of these folks. These some famous, talented, intelligent people who didn't have any financial literacy. Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest ball players in the game. Let me give you one more thing. It sounds geeky, but it's going to help you. Fixed expenses, variable expenses. Fixed expenses is all the stuff that you got to buy anyway. Gas, food, clothes. Maybe you don't need a $500 shirt yet. You get the Target shirt, put your money away, let it work for you. Variable expenses, all the crap we buy that we don't even remember that we have. You guys ever open up your closet and you're like, oh man, I forgot I bought that. Folks, at your age, I promise you, if you don't know you have it, you don't need it yet. Let that money set and make money. Open a savings account. Who has a savings account in this room? That's good. Every one of you can start one for like $5. And if you're 18, you can open up yourself. If you're a little under 18, you need one parent to co-sign. Get that savings account open. Don't be afraid of local banks, credit unions. Obviously, we're real careful who we work with on this program. Farmers National Bank is trusted by the charity. Talk to these folks. Get that going. Because these folks didn't do that. It didn't matter whether they made $100 million or $1 million. Their expenses rose to meet the income. They were back down to zero. Here's one of Dennis Rodman's variable expenses. Making it rain in a Vegas clothing shop. Y'all, who plays sports in this room? Raise your hand if you play sports. Ladies, gentlemen. That's good. That takes a lot of discipline. Us musicians, most of us are terrible at sports, so I admire y'all. Check us out. 4 out of 5 are NFL players. 3 out of 5 are basketball players are broke or financially stressed within 5 years of the contract. Again, it does not matter how much money they're making, they're not saving. Now, I know what you're thinking. Man, if I had that kind of money, I would put it away. Not if you haven't already decided to save. And unless we decide together today to open the savings account and start saving that money, I promise you, the way you look at that $1, when you walk out of this room, that's how you would look at $1 million if it came in the door. Johnny Depp, $25 million a film. He's talking about bankruptcy right now. Here's one of his variable expenses. $3 million to shoot ashes out of a cannon. Yes, that's insane. But again, trust me, if you're not saving now, you wouldn't save when the big money comes. So let's make the decision today. Do it. Ladies, Female bankruptcy is on the rise. And I'm a hypocrite. I got music at some of these shows, Kim Kardashian and Jersey Shore and Snooki, yeah. I know, it's great fun. Just because it says reality TV does not mean it needs to be a reality in our life. Let's figure out what we're about, where we want to go, what our dreams are. We might need to find some new mentors. You might have to talk to your family about some of this stuff. You may be in a situation like me where your family just didn't learn this or there wasn't in the schools. Maybe friends, families, teachers, preachers, principals, us. We're going to take questions here in just a minute. And we're going to take some financial literacy questions. But don't be afraid to talk about money. Don't think it's taboo. I was so scared for so long. I thought they didn't want to have us rock and rollers in the banks. Those banks work for you. You have to go talk to those folks. Create a relationship with them. Get started now. It's one of the best ways we could turn our communities around and get to where we want to go. Just a couple more examples here. Musicians. Google rock stars that went broke. It is pathetic. We got 50 Cent up here today. $108,000 a month he was spent on variable expenses. Again, I don't want you to think that money's bad. Let me give you some good examples. Y'all know who Tyra Banks is? Yeah, she just went back to school, opened a charity. Chance the Rapper just gave $2 million to the Chicago public school system. We played Compton High out in California here a couple years ago. Dre just remodeled the entire school, sold Beats headphones for like $800 million. These are people with the plan, working hard, shoulder against the wheel. So you can get there, but you have to start young and you have to keep working. Last one, the lottery. Guys, $70 billion they take off us every year. The lottery is not in the business of getting you rich. The problem with it is it's the same mindset we all fall into. Like, well, I'm struggling now, but one day this great thing will happen. Nope. Today, we have to start working that job. We have to start saving. That's not against your dreams. That's not against you getting famous or rich or anything else you're trying to do. But the one guaranteed way that you can get even more money than some of these famous people is whatever you're doing, start saving some of that money now. Here's how it works. I've given you a whole bunch of examples. Let me give you exactly how we're going to do this. I have a few postcards we're going to leave with some of the teachers, but I'm going to give you a website coming up here that you can go to and get all this information. But I want to go through this because on that website, there's 3 questions. And I'm going to give the website to you at the end. If you answer the 3 questions on the site, let us know how we're doing, say hi to the charity. That will unlock a code for you to take our new record for free. Here's what's on there. Here's the answers right now. It's called SMART Goals. Doesn't sound cool, but it'll help you, I promise. Say you want to buy a laptop. Be specific. Figure out how much it costs, how much you got. Measurable. Put it down. How much money's coming in each month. Attainable. Do you have a job? Realistic. Maybe you don't need a $2,000 laptop yet. Get the $500 one. You know the cat from Target that's running Target right now makes $41 million a year? He started out in that company pushing carts. And I know it seems impossible, but the thing is, my favorite CEOs are the folks that start at the bottom because they have empathy and feeling for the other people as they're coming up the ranks. So even if you're starting with nothing, if you're willing to work and put your shoulder against the wheel and get that. So that's the thing. Be realistic. You learn a lot by starting at the bottom. A lot of the people who became very, very strong and very, very talented had some things happen to them early on. So don't be afraid if you feel like you're a little behind already. It's going to be about your initiative and your ambition and your passion that's going to get you there. This last one, this was my biggest mistake. Time-oriented. Here's my plan. Someday I'll get a record deal. Someday I'll get a Someday is not a plan. It's geeky. It may not look cool. I know I'm losing a couple of you on these SMART goals. That's all right. The thing is, when you get this out and you do this, there's going to be some people going to make fun of you. They're like, man, SMART goals, what are you talking about? Let those people hate. Anybody that hates on this, let them hate. They'll be asking you for a job in 10 years. When you're doing this, what's going to happen at the end of the month is you're going to have a little bit of money left over. As soon as you're 18 and as seniors, I'm talking to the right people. A lot of you are already 18. If you can put away, this is going to blow your mind. This is slipper checks. I wish I would have learned this at your age. If you could put away $50 a week, I'm not saying that's easy. You're going to have to work some extra hours. But if you put away $50 a week, compound interest, y'all know what compound interest is? Einstein called this magic. Compounded at 6%, it's put in something called an IRA. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not a stockbroker, none of this. But I've talked to about 200 people in the financial industry to try to figure out the safest thing that we could all be doing. It's tax-free, grows over time. 6% means you put away $100, you leave it alone, delayed gratification, they're going to give you back $106. Now I know what you're thinking. Good thing $6 ain't going to change my life. Nope. But if you leave it alone again, here's the magic part. They're going to pay you on your money and their money. You ever say to yourself, man, I don't understand, man, these rich people just get really rich and I'm struggling, I can't get off the ground. This is how you have got to start young enough that your money can make some money for you. If you do that, $50 a week compounded at 6% interest, by the time you withdraw is $678,000. You have to do that every week, but that money starts growing on itself as they're paying you on your and their money. Now, if you didn't hear this message, you're like me, you didn't get this message young, wait till you're 24 years old, look what happens. Your money didn't have time to grow exponentially. You didn't have all the time for that compound interest. You're down to 460. Wait till you're 30 to start saving. You've already halved what you can make. So that's the thing. As we get older, it gets harder. So if you start now, if you make the decision today to go to that local bank, go to that credit union, talk to farmers, talk to them and get this started, you put away $75 a week, you could be a millionaire. This is with any kind of job as long as you're not hurting anybody. So folks, again, it's called an IRA. Don't be afraid to ask us any questions if there's something that I'm not being clear on. Just a couple more slides and we get the band back out here. I want to give you a couple of things to watch out for. Who's going to college in this room? Raise your hand. 2-year school, trade school, 4-year school, doesn't matter. That's great. Okay, as soon as I hit the campus, I went to KU, and when I went on a Pell Grant, and as soon as I got there, they come around with a little clipboard. They said, man, you want a toaster? You want a sweatshirt? I was like, yeah, man, what I got to do? I said, man, you need a credit card. I was like, ooh, I need 10 credit cards. I'm going to open a record label. Guys, y'all don't need 10 credit cards. You know this, right? You don't even need one credit card unless you've used a debit card. Debit card's attached to a checkbook. Only goes to zero. When you don't have money, you can't spend it. That's a great way to understand financial literacy. The problem with the credit card is we all start putting those variable expenses. I used to go to Target and be like, Sons of Anarchy, I'll take 7 seasons. Bye. Thing is, at the end of the month, the meter's running. Whatever you can't pay for, they're going to start charging you interest. Now think about this with me for a second. This is part of the reason we're doing this program, why we care about it. Think about how much money you can make saving 6%. Now think about how much money is leaving our communities when we're paying somebody else 15, 20, 25% interest. 25% interest means that a quarter of every single hour you work is going out the door. Now, I'm not doing all these, but I'm going to do a couple more. Even worse, same-day lenders. Guys, I'm going to take a breath because these folks frustrate me. Again, if you got family members working there, I'm not against you. It's just people need to understand what the system is. If you don't have any financial literacy, you haven't been saving, you don't have what's called an emergency fund, rainy day fund. In other words, you don't have anything put away. You get in a tight spot, you're like, man, I need $100 right now. You go to these places, they got the little fluorescent lights. When I was in LA, if you saw like a liquor store on a concrete block and a light out, you better believe it's the same day lender setting up shop to give these loans out. On the window, it says 10%. That's not bad. You're like, okay, I'm borrow $100, I owed him $110. In the fine print, it's called a rollover. What it says, ladies and gentlemen, is if you miss a couple, 3 of those payments, let me ask you, what do you think the average interest of a same-day lender in America is today? You got any guesses? Credit cards go up 25%, it's kind of the top. That's such a good guess. That's where they break even. 40% is where they break even. In other words, that's where they can make a little money. And I get it. These are risky loans. I got to make some money. 400%. 400% interest on some of these loans. In the South, it's even worse. I just moved to Nashville last summer. That's why we're talking. We just did 7 shows in Atlanta. We're here in Kentucky talking about this. 1,300% some of these same-day lenders. We got a street in Nashville that in 2 blocks, there's 13 same-day lenders. You can't find any healthy food to eat, but you can go get a loan where if you borrow $1,000, you can owe them $13,000. People are going bankrupt. This causes violence. It causes stress in our communities. Stay away from these folks. Find that local bank, talk to them, get started, make sure you have some money put away so you don't have to take one of these kind of loans. Should we save student loans for the Q&A or do we have time to talk about it? We got time. I'm gonna just do a couple more things here. A bunch of you guys raise your hand about going to college, so this is just my opinion, but please, and I know you still got some time left as seniors, ask your teachers, ask everybody around how you can get scholarships, how you can get grants. I want to make sure that you're using OPM, other people's money. In other words, what I don't want to see is that you go out and you borrow a ton of money. Now look, if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, you got to go to Ivy League school. You know you can make that money back. I'm not against you. That's wonderful. That's something to be proud of. But just be careful how much money you take. There's a lot of people who start even at community college. I just want to see you go on and keep reading and asking questions and studying and working on yourself. So even if it's a community college, you take 2 years, you finish at a state school. And there's a lot of great state schools. I'm not against Ivy League schools, but I met people who've graduated Ivy League schools and they owe so much money. They are crippled by debt coming out of there. And I met people who went to trade schools, community colleges, are millionaires because they worked hard, they asked questions, they watched their budget. So just be careful on those student loans because you really need to figure out what the interest is when you borrow that money. Okay, last thing here. I want to talk about credit score for just a second. Now, this is nothing to worry about. Every single one of you is issued a credit score at age 18, starts around 500. A credit score is simply a judgment of your financial literacy. If you're doing all the stuff we talked about today, you're saving a little bit, you're not putting a bunch of junk on your credit card, you're paying your bills on time, that number is automatically going to go up because they can see how you're spending money. They know if you pay your own phone bill. They keep track of that stuff. It goes up to 700, 800, 850 is the top. If you have a high credit score like that, when it's time for you to get a car, get a house, because most of us can't just go out and spend $300,000 on a house. We got to get a loan. They're going to give you a loan for a little bit of interest. You're only going to have to pay back a little bit to use that money. That's how we get our life started. Now, if you're like me, again, I know what a credit score was, so I wrecked mine. I was putting a bunch of crazy stuff on my credit card. I missed some credit card payments. Every time you skip a payment, you could lose 50, 100 points because they don't know they can trust you. They don't know you're going to send in the money. One of two things happens if you don't watch this credit score. One is they're going to charge you a lot of interest, again, because they can't trust you. They got to get more money from you to cover any losses, or they're not going to give you a loan. That's how we get stuck. If you see people struggling, you see them suffering, there's a good chance the credit scores are low. There's a good chance they couldn't get into a house. They couldn't get into something they could build a life with. They start taking out money from the wrong places. You see how one thing leads to another. I'm not here to scare you. Again, I just think it's rock and roll for you guys to be able to achieve all your potential. And in the Western world, money makes a lot of things go around, so we have to learn this stuff. AnnualCreditReport.com, they're not selling you anything. There's no pop-ups. You guys are almost 18. Check your credit score. Make sure that that thing is building right, and keep an eye on it. Any questions about this, we're going to take them in just a minute. You know what? One example about how credit, this is a way you can make $9,600 understanding this right out of school. Say you're going to buy your first car. We put something decent up here. It's like $23,000. It's a Toyota Camry. If you have a 730 credit score, you're going to get a loan for about 2%. That means over time that you're paying back the loan, that 2% interest is $1,300 extra you're paying in order to get into that car at $23,000. That's a good deal. Exact same car, and your credit score is down to 599, you're going to be paying around 15% interest. You're paying an extra $10,921 because your credit score wasn't good. Over the life of that loan, that's a difference of, it's almost half of that car. Your employers are looking at your credit score before they hire you. The rates you pay on the house, the insurance, everything you do is going to have to do with credit score. Again, may not sound rock and roll, but we get stuck in our lives when we don't understand this stuff. Folks, please open that savings account. Be thinking of some questions. I want to bring the band back out. I can't thank you enough for having us and for listening to all this. One more time for Farmers National Bank. We love y'all. Let's get the band back out. Give them a round of applause. Jesse Richenberger, Aaron O'Neill, Eric Santagata. Yes. That's Michael Boris on the drums right there. Y'all give it up for Michael Boris joining us here today. If you like to throw me off Come on out, Michael. Sorry, man. Yes, get on out here. Okay, guys, we light them up just a little bit. We don't keep it intimate. Let's keep it intimate. But we're going to take some questions. They've got a mic up in the top, but I don't think there's a mic down below. But y'all are so respectful and freaking wonderful. If you will just kind of speak loudly to me, I will repeat your question. And if you're asking a financial literacy question, we'll try to run out at the end and give you a little free gift. So let's keep it about financial literacy if we can, yo. Who's the first brave contestant here? I know I didn't cover it that good. Come on, Kentucky, what you got for me? Who's got a question? Let me see some hands, y'all. We're pleasant people. We'll all answer. We didn't get you enough coffee, man. I know it's tougher when it's a bunch of schools, right? You know, it's like when it's your school, you kind of all know each other. Anything about student loans, about credit cards, about credit scores, about debit score? Yeah, what's happening? What's the difference between a subsidized loan and unsubsidized? Oh, man, that's a heavy question. Give him a round of applause. I don't think we've ever got that one. So when you're taking out student loans, there's some things that have some government backing, where they're getting behind it and trying to kind of keep the rates down. But a lot of this stuff these days is privatized, which means people can give different rates. And farmers, if I'm giving you the wrong information or I'm giving you the wrong information for Kentucky, please let me know and feel free to jump in. But subsidized is just a matter that there's some other backing behind it. The main thing you want to watch out for is just what the interest rate is. Just figure out how much money you're going to have to pay them back. And don't be afraid to ask them. Like, I want you guys to break. The last time I bought a car, I was like, break it out. How much of my money is going to the car and how much of my money is going extra to the interest? And just look at that and make sure it's something that you can afford. That's a great question, man. Man, Kentucky, come on, y'all ain't gonna be the first schools. They got it. I'm not seeing well enough back there. All right. This may be the first time I gotta hand it to you, Kentucky. I'm stumped on that. I've studied all these interest rates. I don't know. Valerie, do you know on this one? I would imagine a few points.
About 6% right now.
So it's around the same as you getting a loan for, a good loan for a house or a car, 6%. That's a great question. Seriously, guys, I wish I was asking these questions when we were in high school, man. It's righteous.
And with any loan, the faster you pay it back, the less interest you're going to pay. So you don't want to just pay the minimum payment on your credit card, on your student loan. If you have the money now, pay it, and it'll pay off in the end.
All right. How about we talk about investments? What would you recommend first, a bond, a stock, or a mixed bag?
I didn't hear the last one, but I heard a bond or a stock on investment.
Or a mix.
Or a mix. It's a great question. So if you decide to dive way into that and study it and read a bunch of books, and you can send us a note at Gooding Music, we'll recommend a couple things. That's great. A lot of times, especially if you're really, you got some property, got different things, you could talk to a financial advisor. We're not talking about the specifics so much as some of the fundamentals. But I will say an IRA, the individual retirement account, you can put that in different things. You can figure out how much is something you want. If you want some in tech, you want something, you can still make the decisions. A general rule of thumb that people say is, whatever your age is what you have in bonds. So if you're 18 years old, you may only have 18% of your money in bonds. And then the rest are stocks, because you can be more aggressive. As you get older, you want to get a little bit safer in case there's ups and downs. The stock market has ups and downs, but over time, it's only gone one way. That IRA is a really safe thing because it's a mixed bag. It's in a lot of different things. So you can sometimes get higher returns by doing riskier stuff, but I think 6% is a good number. That way it's still safe. So again, I'm not a financial advisor, but that IRA is awesome because it grows tax-free. And I'm sure the folks at Farmers would be happy to talk about that if you want to go in and talk to them. That's a very specific question and a very good question. These questions are great. What you got, partner? Oh, wow, that's great. Do you want that one? This is an awesome question. The question was, should you pay down your largest debts first? There's a lot of different ways people look at this, but my feeling is you should pay down what has the highest interest rate first. Because that's the thing that's taking more money out that you could be paying on whatever you're doing. So I would look at whatever you have out there, if the credit card has the highest rate, knock that out. It's such a good question. And it has a lot to do with credit score too. Because again, if you're keeping your mind on that, it's a lot easier to do well at your age than it is to get it screwed up and then have to reverse it. Do you have anything on that, Eric? I think getting the highest one first is the best one.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And just be really careful when you're taking a loan, because you're going to have to pay it all back plus some. It's so easy to accept that loan, take that money now, but you really, really want to be careful about borrowing money unless you have a great plan on how to make it grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Great.
Her question was, in case you couldn't hear it, do you suggest taking a gap year or a small student loan in case you can't afford college right away? And that's a super personal decision. It kind of depends on, one, what your financial situation is. Do you have money coming in? Do you have help? Do you have scholarships? Do you have grants and things? Is there money out there to help you go to college? And then you have to also think about what it is that you want to be studying and what kind of education you need to make that happen. So if you want to be something fancy like a doctor or a lawyer, like you might need to go to that more expensive school, and that means you might have to take out a student loan to help fill in the gaps if you don't have, most of us probably don't have money to go to Yale, just straight up, right? So you might need to take out some student loans to help you get there, but since you know you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be making a lot of money in the future, you'll be able to pay that down, and it'll be an investment in yourself. If you don't know what you're going to do yet, and you just are like, I don't know, maybe I'll just go to college and figure it out, maybe go to a 2-year school, maybe go to a trade school. Find something that's not going to get you in a huge amount of debt if you have no idea what you're doing yet. There's tons of great options and tons of things you could be doing, so just try not to get yourself into a big hole if you aren't sure what your direction is, or if you don't have all, the resources that you need to help get you there. So
That was excellent. We're not against student loans. I mean, sometimes it can really help somebody, but the last 10 years, it's gone up 150%. I just read an article yesterday in USA Today about it. I'm a geek. Okay, up there, and then we'll come down here. I missed the beginning of it. What was the what? Investing in the stock market? That's great. You want to take this? People ask me, they say, when should I start saving? I say, yesterday. The IRA is an investment in the stock market.
Yeah, generally, these investments need lots of time to take advantage of compound interest, which Gooding mentioned. That is the most powerful force in the world. And you need to start taking advantage of it now if you want it to grow really big. Did you see those numbers? It's pretty amazing. From $600,000 to half that if you wait 10 years. So now's the time. It's ticking for you right now. Everybody just think about that. You can start taking advantage of this right now, or you cannot and miss the train. So start now, but you want to be smart about it. Talk to the professionals, read the books. If you want to be rich, you can. You just have to do this stuff. So just take it seriously and start doing this.
You got time for a couple more, Tyler? Are we playing at the end? Cool. All right, who we got? I think you had one down here. Yeah. Oh, sorry, guys, 1 second. Right. It's a wonderful question. Talking about if it's easier, you start at 500, so you're right in the middle. The first score you get isn't bad, but it isn't great. It's actually pretty low because they're not going to start giving a bunch of money to young people quite yet. But you can start working on it. The second you pay your first bill, maybe you get a little loan from a bank, they're going to watch what you're doing with money. And if you're doing well right out of the gate, it is going to rise up. Yes, it is easier to get your first credit score and do the right thing and build it than it is to get in trouble and dig your way out. It does take longer if you make the mistakes. So that's why we're talking to young people. You guys have a clean slate. When you're 18, it starts right in the middle. Just start building it. Pay your bills on time. If you get a credit card will help you raise your credit score because it shows them, what you're doing with money. But be careful. I don't think you need more than one to start. And just don't put anything on that credit card that you're not planning on paying off at the end of 30 days. Because once you miss that first 30 days, that clock starts running. But yeah, you'll be fine. If you're doing the things we talked about today, I don't want to scare anybody off on this. You'll be fine in your credit score. You just have to follow these basic principles. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, showing up would be the first thing. And Eric, you may have some of this. Getting a relationship with your local bank, if they know you and have some idea of who you are in the community, they trust you, there's a better chance they can work with you. Because usually there is somebody there that can make the decision of how far they're going to go with it. So it's kind of the same rules of life. Be honest, be nice to people, show up. Yeah.
Just the other day, I had to call and activate a credit card, and they were like, is there anything else I can help you with? I was like, yeah, can we lower the interest rate? And there was a pause, and then she was like, yeah, we can. And she lowered it 2 percentage points, just like that.
Really? Dude,
yeah.
That's crazy.
So you just got to ask for that and for anything you want in life. You got to ask. And now you might not get it on your first ask, but keep asking. Ask a nude way. Ask someone else who can actually give it to you. You got to ask for the things you want.
One of the best ways, too, if they see your credit score going in the right direction, there's a better chance they're going to want to help you with it. So, yeah, don't be afraid to call them and ask them. That's good. Who we got? We got one more? Am I missing anybody? Are we good? Right up there? Okay, great. Why is an IRA a good investment? The first thing is it's diversified. It's not just like throwing all your money on one stock. It's usually a basket of a bunch of different things. And also, you pay the tax when you put the money in, but as it grows, and you saw how much it grows, that's all that growth is tax-free. So right there, you're saving 20, maybe 30% if you're doing really well of your money. So it's diversified and it's tax-free and it's safe. In general, I mean, banks, I know a lot of us get scared of banks. That last crash was crazy. But FDIC, you said this the other day, $100,000 your money's insured right there at these banks. So just start saving now. We feel that IRA is safe, but talk to somebody locally. See, there may be something else, that they offer. But it's really, we think it's really good because it grows tax-free. And I wish I would have done it when I was your age, believe me. So. You guys are wonderful. We love you. Please hit us up at goodingmusic.com. We got a record coming out. We got a bunch of videos. We want to stay in touch. Let me give you the website to get the record for free. If you go to goodingmusic.com/students, click on the band there. There's 3 questions. You're going to know the answers, I promise. Hit those up. Let us know how we're doing, and we will stay in touch. We will just send you that record when it comes out and the code for it. How about one more song? We play just one last song while we say goodbye to y'all? All right, 10-4. Seriously, folks, thanks for being so good with us. We appreciate it. We had a good time here. We're going back to Nashville after this, and we're heading to D.C., so you're sending us on our way. We're off for Halloween, so it's going to be good. This is a thing called Horses of War. You to go. No, I never want you to stay. 100 million arrows wrapped in a bow. All the violent things that you say. When you come around, from the first man to the last man, you battle through the ground. This war it tears me to pieces. You know I never want you to lie. I can't handle the truth now, honey. I see that little light up look in your eyes. You're moving armies to find me. When you come around, first man to the last man, we battle through the ground. You know this war it tears me to pieces. All the years we won't get back, we won't get clean. The stars wasted up in the in-between. And all the years we won't get back, we won't get clean. When you come around, from the first man to the last man, we battle through the ground. This war it tears me to pieces. When you come around, from the first man to the last man, battle through the ground. You know this war it tears me to pieces. Thank you so much for listening, y'all. We love you. We appreciate it. See you down the road soon. Thank you, farmers. We appreciate it. Big up to the charity funding the future. Love you guys. Unfortunately, I think they're going to have to send some of y'all to your buses. They're going to let you know, but we're going to make sure that all the schools get a stack of signed posters, a bunch of buttons, stuff like that. And again, stay in touch with us at Gooding Music. Thank you all.